Justin Trudeau has had his worst week of Parliament since he took office in 2015, and now he's running scared and unable to even answer the slightest of questions. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe as we go into the weekend. This was something I didn't think could wait until Monday. This was something that I really wanted to put out there, that I really wanted to chime in on, because since this week has been absolutely unreal when it comes to the vote in the House of Commons to have the Liberals be fully transparent on the paper trail of ArriveCAN when it comes to not only where contracts were given out, but transparency and documentation as to promotions that were given out. Then we talk about those luxury whiskey tastings, or the $1,900 per day per diems, and where that money went. Not only that, but the vote said that the Liberals are to recoup the costs of this $80 million application that was essentially padding the pockets of friends. But now also Pierre Poilievre coming out this week with the damning documentation of Justin Trudeau's involvement with the CCP and what that has done to Canada's security in their own virology lab. I apologize. It's late, and I'm trying to find the best way to put it together. But we all know the story of what came out this week. But what's more important was Justin Trudeau, of course, nowhere to be seen in the House of Commons after these documents came to light. Now, of course, he's making his ways jet setting around Canada like he always does, burning up his fuel on our dime, I should say, while lecturing us about how dirty we are with the environment. That now Justin Trudeau has finally been starting to get grilled on these press tours, even by his own government-paid prostitutes, asking what is happening here. Theo Fleury, good friend of the channel, coming out saying, why is he looking at the floor? Because he's guilty. And True North reporting here, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was asked if any other public servants have been implicated in the ArriveCAN scandal, following the revelation that a national defense employee received $7.9 million in government contracts for the development of the app. Now, we reported on this earlier in the week. We talked about this in an earlier video. I believe it was on Wednesday, where we discussed the fact that a gentleman who works in the national, or the defense, the DOD, the Department of National Defense, was contracted out for the ArriveCAN app for $7.9 million. And of course, the Department of Defense saying that, again, by the wording of that article, that they had ceased any further work with this gentleman, that they take these allegations very seriously, that they'd be looking into it, and anything that they had uncovered, they would be sharing with the press, while people in the House of Commons had been saying this man hadn't been fired or let go from the Department of Defense. So it's curious as to what has actually happened there. Again, once I get clarification, we'll be talking about that on the channel. But let's just take a listen here to old President Fancy Socks and watch as he looks down at the floor. He can't keep it straight.
CTV News reported that an employee of DND was given nearly $8 million to work on the controversial ArriveCAN app. Have any other DND or federal employees been awarded?
There are investigations ongoing into what happened in the procurement process around ArriveCAN. Obviously, the information that has come out, and has come out over the past months, has been unacceptable. There are full-on investigations. There will be consequences for anyone who broke the rules, who broke the laws, and indeed who took advantage of a situation in which governments of all levels were doing everything they could to keep Canadians alive and safe in a never-before-seen pandemic.
Here we go with Trudeau's gaslighting. Again, he spit in the same scripts, the same word salad. Oh, these were people who took money to do everything they could for people during a pandemic. We've seen with the release of these documents from Pierre Poilievre that the pandemic was essentially the flu. At least that's what, again, YouTube, hear me out here. I'm not saying that those are my opinions. These are what Pierre Poilievre basically stated, that there was corruption between Canada and the Chinese army, and deception was the game. as to lockdowns, as to taking our freedoms away. I'm not talking about the virus. I'm not talking about jabs. I'm talking about the lockdowns. Um, I always got to make that clear with YouTube. But of course, him saying that, oh, this was all in the purposes of national security and keeping people safe. But he also made an interesting point there where he says anybody caught taking money for the wrong reasons should be held to the fullest extent of the law. Well, what about himself? I mean, we've seen that not only with this leak of information in regards to his involvement with the CCP, which is essentially treason, but we've also been known that Justin Trudeau is hiding millions of dollars as his net wealth went from $9 million at the time he became Prime Minister of Canada to over $100 million in an 8-year tenure for a guy who makes an average of $400,000 a year, salary being the Prime Minister of Canada. Now, how that happens? Well, by lining the pockets of friends, by backdoor deals, by shady money being passed around. It's all coming out to fruition, folks. And this is, again, I'm going to keep saying it now because it's over for Justin Trudeau. And this is the beginning of the end. The problem here, and what we're talking about, and we talked about this on last night's live stream, is that when you look at SNC Lavalin, when you look at the We Charity scandal, there was a lot of red tape covered up where Trudeau had people to throw under the bus. We've seen it with Anthony Rota with the Waffen SS visitor in the House of Commons, that they threw Anthony Rota under the bus and made him resign rather than Justin Trudeau or Chrystia Freeland or Karina Gould taking full responsibility for their invite to that person. We've seen Marco Mendicino fall on the sword. We've seen Omar Algebra step away from from the House of Commons, as well as other MPs, including I forget the Asian MP who was accused of interference from the CCP during the last federal election to gain his seat, who stepped down. But again, Justin Trudeau always having somebody to throw under the bus. When you look at the vote that went through with ArriveCAN earlier this week, again, Justin Trudeau is the one being grilled now as to why did these contracts go out? Why is there millions of dollars? What about the $250 million that have been given out to this company since 21 days after you took office? These are things Trudeau has to answer for. And of course, he's giving word salad now because he has nowhere left to run. And it literally is the beginning of the end for Justin Trudeau. I don't think there's any way of escaping this. Now, Theo Fleury again coming out saying the Conservative Party doesn't have to spew anything. You are the most corrupt, vile criminal in Canada, and the whole world knows it. That's the thing about truth. It always comes, and now you've been caught in your own web of lies and cover-ups. You've done it to yourself. Now, of course, we see here Carleton deserves better, showing out that we've seen the Conservative Party, specifically Pierre Poilievre, choosing to spew conspiracy theories and drum up political attacks. It's just not the undermining Canadians' trust in the system, but the interfering with the ability of Parliament to deal with this. Pierre Poilievre, wait a minute. What does that say? Sorry, I want to make sure we get the entire context of this tweet before we get into the funny video of this. Pierre Poilievre, is that supposed to say like evil's toxic or something? It's obviously a pro liberal hashtag. Again, Carleton deserves better. Wanting to defame Pierre Poilievre, but we've seen this again. I apologize for slowing down there, folks, but I'm trying to run everything through my mind at once. But what we've seen with Justin Trudeau, that during his last election, again, when we did the pandemic election, it was always, you don't want to get on a plane or a train and sit next to unvaccinated people. These people are misogynistic. They take up space. They're often racists. How do we tolerate them? All these questionable things that went on. And using division and hate speech to garner votes. Well, Justin Trudeau, again, nowhere to go. So now instead of taking the road less traveled and saying, look, they're going to conduct their investigations, it's going to be what it's going to be, or even just refusing to answer the questions, he once again tries to blame Pierre Poilievre by saying, you're spreading misinformation. You're spreading conspiracy theories. The man had a giant document, the size larger than the Holy Bible, depicting everything in print that was quoted by Justin Trudeau and then what had taken place between the Liberals, Justin Trudeau, and the CCP. So to say that it's misinformation, I mean, obviously, well, look, we know Justin Trudeau is stupid, but he obviously thinks you're very stupid to think that you could believe such rhetoric, that would even be possible. Let's hear what he had to say.
Tasked our National Security and Intelligence Advisor to look even deeper at this Winnipeg's lab situation and make recommendations on how we can move forward appropriately. This is something that people would expect governments to take seriously and expect all parliamentarians to take seriously. Unfortunately, throughout this process, we have seen the Conservative Party, specifically Pierre Poilievre, choosing to spew conspiracy theories and drum up political attacks, partisan attacks, on an issue that, quite frankly, should be bringing Canadians and parliamentarians together to try.
So hold on. Sorry to cut in, folks. He's drumming up attacks, partisan attacks, at a time when Canadians should be coming together to say, oh, it's so good that you allowed China into our government lab to procure our deadliest viruses, members of the Chinese army that are pro-terrorism. Now, again, I'm quoting verbatim what was in Pierre Poilievre's document. This isn't speculation. This isn't conspiracy theories. This was factual documents Pierre Poilievre held on to that showed Justin Trudeau's involvement, allowing them to go back to China and then to procure bunk vaccines. Pierre Poilievre's words again, not mine. Alleged, I'm going to say alleged bunk vaccines, so that I'm not completely blacklisted from YouTube. But him saying people should be happy. People should be happy that we put the country's security at risk, that we've allowed our cabinets to be infiltrated. Let's continue.
Solve this. The quickness with which they're looking for partisan advantage is not just undermining Canadians' trust in the system, but interfering with the ability of Parliament to deal with this. One of the reasons it has taken so long to get this report into Parliament is because of the choice that Conservatives made to try and extract any amount of political advantage by drumming up a level of partisanship and toxicity that is not serving Canadians.
It's funny to see. So here we go. Again, he's got nobody to throw under the bus in the Liberal Party to say, oh, we're going to look into their involvement. We're going to look into what happened. He's saying that Pierre Poilievre is drumming up votes or support by talking about a conspiracy theory out of that very large document that Justin Trudeau was involved with China and their virology lab experts to jeopardize Canada's security. Now, the fact that he says, well, you should just let Parliament handle this. You mean just like you did back in 2000, what was it, 21, when we did the last election, when Justin Trudeau, as Pierre Poilievre said when he unveiled these documents, that the Speaker wanted to bring these documents to light, that the Speaker wanted to procure what had happened, and Justin Trudeau sued the Speaker in order to bury those documents and called an election in order to move forward with his plans. There's nobody left to throw under the bus. Trudeau is screwed, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be funny. You can see in that video how nervous he is, trying to find ways to run alongside it. Just wait. Watch next week as we cover more of these videos. He's going to start saying words like MAGA and alt-right and things like that. This is where they're going to come back with those things. They're going to talk about Russia again, I'm willing to bet, because that seems to be a favorite topic for Justin Trudeau. It's going to get insane, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be all worth the laughs as we watch Trudeau's future crumble. Again, I think that if you watched last night's stream, I've said with everything that's come to light, the fact that every party aside from the Liberals voted in favor, and their leaders the Bloc, the NDP, the Conservatives all voted in favor of the transparency of ArriveCAN, and the Liberals having to recoup those costs as well as unveil every penny that was spent and who it was given to, and their paper trail. I don't see how somebody like Jagmeet Singh can continue to prop up a liberal government when they complain about the greed of CEOs and all this corruption is going to come to light. Now, again, once this coward returns to the House of Commons, things are going to blow up, and it's going to be fun to watch, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be fantastic to watch. But get your popcorn. It's going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Let me know, do you think it's over? Again, with the level of barraged attacks at Justin Trudeau in the last 4 days, I definitely think there's no way for him to get away from this. I think this is the beginning of the end. Let me know your comments down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Don't forget to click on your bell notifications and join us live. Now, instead of this Friday, I will be out of town. I'm going over to good old Winnipeg to spend some quality time with family and friends. And I will be unavailable next Friday. However, I will be doing a live stream this upcoming Sunday, March the 10th. I believe that is, here on the channel, where we'll go over everything that happened in the week, everything that I missed. Keep your eyes peeled on the channel this upcoming Friday. Speaking of ArriveCAN, Stephanie Kusi, Conservative MP, will be joining me here on the channel for an interview about ArriveCAN and everything that we're going to be seeing coming up in the House of Commons. I for sure want to ask her questions in regards to this behavior from Justin Trudeau, and it's going to be a banger interview. I hope you guys can come here on the channel and join us for that Friday morning. It's going to be great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. I'll catch you on the next one.